Well, hello there. Looks like Satan is at work tonight, huh? Put some here. Much better. Yeah, I was trying to log in and I kept seeing my computer freezing and all these pop-ups on the screen, and I had to log out. I had to shut it down, restart the computer several times. I think Satan guessed what I'm up to tonight, huh? So, can you hear me right? Linux. Okay, so you can. Okay. So you looked up the verse, right? I wonder if anybody else got it correctly. It's Matthew 25:40. All right, so let me read that verse in its context. So I have to start from the beginning of Matthew 25. Let me get it on my phone really quick. Okay, so this is how it goes. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They also will answer, Lord, when did you see? When did we see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick, or in prison, and did not help you? Now, this is Christ talking to his disciples, and he's telling them basically that, whatever they have done to the other brothers and sisters, it says I'm disconnected. Why do I get disconnected? Gosh, I hate it when that happens. Okay, let me start that again. Because I got disconnected, so I don't know if you heard what I was saying. Okay, so Christ is saying to his disciples that however they treat the least fortunate is really how they've treated him. So he continues, truly I tell you, you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. So he's trying to make the point that people need to be considerate of how they treat others. Just because you might consider them inferior, it doesn't mean that they don't matter or are not important to God. For example, you might see a homeless bum on the street and think, oh, look at this dummy over here with a piece of crap. He doesn't deserve any help. But God might actually see that person's heart and understand why they're in that situation. Maybe the person got into some trouble, got kicked out unjustly, out of a friend's house. Maybe they lost a job. And, God could see the person's situation and the person's heart, but somebody else may not. It's basically the concept, don't judge a book by its cover. So, anyways, this verse just came to my mind today. After witnessing just here on YouTube how people treat each other. There's people that are really inconsiderate, cruel, uncompassionate with other people. And a lot of this has to do with a superficial mentality that they have, that they feel that they have the right to mistreat other people or behave cruelly towards them. For example, when they deem people unworthy based on their physical looks. I'm going to give you an example. I don't know if you've ever tried this, online dating. I've tried it before. And I remember also, back a long time ago, I used to be on Yahoo chat rooms. And I used to do a lot of online evangelism. It wasn't popular back then, but I used to do it. I used to go into chat rooms, and they used to nickname me Preacher Girl because I would always be bringing up spiritual topics. And I considered myself an online or chat room evangelist. I know, it's kind of funny. But, I, just like over here on YouTube or on Facebook or anywhere on the social media, you have the ability to make friends online. So one of these people, it was a guy, and he was a friend online. And yes, John Horse, Preacher Girl, and they nicknamed me Preacher Girl. I was like 19. No, I was 21. I was 21 at the time. So there was this guy. He was a friend of mine online, and he had a very good looking picture of himself. I thought you were 21 now. No, I'm in my 30s. I'll let you guess what number in my 30s. But no, I'm not 21. I'm not in my 20s. I am in my 30s. So this guy, he invited me out for an ice cream. And it was in this downtown area here in Florida. This was when I already had come back from Venezuela, and I moved in with my grandparents. And so, I had talked to him on the phone before a lot of times. And, I decided, I said, well, he seems to be like-minded, and, he's got a cute profile picture. He looks cute in the pictures. I could probably like him more than a friend, but if not, it doesn't matter, So anyways, I decided to go and meet him for ice cream. It was about 7:30, and I was on my cell phone, and I called him and I told him that I was there in front of this fountain where we were supposed to meet. It was in front of the ice cream shop, and I was there waiting for him, and I was just looking around with my phone. And he told me, oh, yeah, I'm sitting there. He's like, do you see me? And I said, no, I don't see you. And I'm looking around for him. I'm looking for the guy that looks like the guy in the picture. He had in the picture, he had jet black, dark hair, dark eyes. And I'm looking for this guy in the picture. So I said, I don't see you around here. Where are you? And he says, I'm walking towards you. And, the only person that I saw walking towards me with this really short, extra obese, large guy with glasses on and gray hair. And I see a guy walking towards me with the phone, talking. He's like, "Hey, I'm over here." And I'm like, "I don't see you." so, um, so yeah, it turned out that the picture that he posted on his profile was him, but it was him like 20 years ago, like 20 years before. So, that's one way of catfishing people when you post really, really old pictures. Okay, yeah, it's you, but that's not really how you look now. And so, honestly, when I saw him, my jaw kind of dropped because it didn't look at all like him. Okay, he looked completely different. And, but I was not rude. Okay. I know that many people in that situation would probably behave rudely and probably just turn around and walk away or say something mean. And, I didn't do that because I could overlook people's uh, exterior looks. Plus, it's not like I wasn't there, for friendship. I was also there to talk to this person and meet someone who I had been talking to for a while. So it would have been very rude of me to just walk away and not stay just because the person didn't look like the way they portrayed themselves in the picture. Even though walking away might have been justifiable to some because the person was deceptive about their looks. So that's what the typical shallow person would do, because shallow people are only focused on exterior things like looks, what car you drive, how much money you have in the bank account. Those are shallow people. And I think shallow people should date people who are just as shallow as them. And they don't deserve to be with people who are more spiritual, who are more genuine and, kind-hearted and compassionate. They don't deserve these kind of people. So I overlooked that he was deceptive about the way he looked, and I stayed for the ice cream. We had a nice conversation. I didn't try to leave like 5 minutes later. That would have been rude too. And, after that, I met up with him at the same place 2 more times just because I got along with him well as a friend. Now, I was not attracted to him. I was attracted to the picture of what he used to look like, but not him how he currently looked at that time. So, you can't. Who you're attracted to, that's a different story. It doesn't have to do with superficiality or shallowness. But had I just walked away and not given the person the minute of the day, that would have been very rude. I would have missed out on a nice friendship with a person. And another time, something similar did happen to me. It was a Hindu guy. In the pictures, he looked very cute. When I met him in person, same thing. He had the glasses going. He was probably like my size. I'm 5'3" almost. So I'm kind of short. And this one really, really, really looked nothing like in his profile pictures at all. I remember thinking to myself, wow, this guy is like really repulsive looking. But I stayed. I had lunch with him, and after that, I continued talking to him because he was a very intelligent and funny person. He was conservative like me. Later on, I actually ended up kind of falling in love with him because he was such a loyal guy. The only thing that stopped me from marrying him is that at the time I was so hardcore Christian, and he had told me that he would never ever convert to Christianity, and to me it was an issue at the time. So, I kind of, I pulled back from that, and, later on I ended up marrying somebody else. Um, but, if I go back and I look at that now, I kind of regret actually not marrying that person because of religion, when in reality we were spiritually alike and we were like-minded in many ways. We were both conservative, and yeah, we got along really great. I mean, I didn't find them that attractive, but there was later on an attraction that did develop, and I think it would have been enough to get married. So that's why you shouldn't be so shallow and be with people just for their looks, or ignore them just because you don't find them that attractive. Talking about attractiveness, right now we're currently in the Venus and Mercury retrograde. I don't know if you know what that is. You're probably wondering. It's an astrological term. When Venus, John, I don't know about all this. John Horst, I'm sure you already looked that up. But not really. Also, I know that there's a lot of Christians that don't agree with astrology. And in the past, I have had many debates with Christians regarding astrology. And, the Bible actually does talk about astrology. It was used by the wise men who visited Jesus, and using astrology, they were able to determine that he was the coming Messiah. Jesus himself knew all about astrology. So I get pretty annoyed when Christians come up with, that's witchcraft and sorcery. That's nonsense. Most of the Christians don't even know what's in the Bible, how to interpret it. And in reality, they tend to be hypocrites, because you would think that if a person was really interested in studying the Bible or reading a book, they would be done with it pretty quickly. Let me see. I've read the Bible. I've studied it probably about 3 times in my life. The first time that I read it, it did take me about maybe like 3 years when I started around age 19. And that was because I was going by the format that most pastors tell you to use, which is like a chapter a day or a few chapters a week. And really think about it. When you want to learn about something and you're passionate about it, and you really want to read a book, you normally buy that book and you're done with it within a week, because you just can't stop flipping over the pages. The second time that I read the Bible, I got through it within 4.5 months. Yes, believe it or not, you could read it that fast. But that's because I was very passionate about wanting to get to the bottom of it. And when you read the whole thing, from first page to the last page, not skipping around chapter to chapter from Old Testament to New Testament like the pastors tell you to do, doesn't make sense. When you read the whole thing, first page to the last page, you'll get the bigger picture. But if you're going to take a whole 3 years and 1 year to read a book, okay, given it's not one book, it's 66 books in the Bible with a whole bunch of hundreds of chapters for each book. Well, almost. But what I'm saying is, when you're really interested in something and you're passionate about it, you really dive into it. It shouldn't take you that long to read the Bible if you were really interested in it. And this is how I know most Christians know nothing about it. They're just skipping from verse to verse. They memorize Bible verses. I have never in my life memorized Bible verses, by the way. I mean, there's a few that I have memorized, did it from Sunday school, but it wasn't intentionally. It's just from hearing it over and over. But I'm not into memorizing Bible verses. I'm into understanding a verse and understanding the whole picture of a book. You read, I'll listen. Oh my gosh, it's already 10:20? Okay, I was supposed to be off here within 15 minutes. Okay, we're at 21 minutes. But I'm going to try to come back later. I don't promise that. So my point of this whole verse is be careful how you treat those who you deem the least or inferior for whatever reason, whether it be based on their looks, based on how much money they have in the bank account, what they drive. Don't be so shallow. I get very disappointed by the shallowness of people, especially lately from what I see on YouTube channels in the past few days, especially today. There's some really cruel people who just don't have compassion for others. They are not considerate of other people's feelings. They don't take that into account. And like I said, shallow people belong with other shallow people like themselves. Anyway, I need to go for now, but I'm going to try to be back later. But before I go, I'm going to look into my wish box. Well, that's what it's called. I still think I'm not going to read that out loud. John Horst. I buy these at Barnes and Nobles. There's different themed ones. This one's called Wish. And I like these because they always have this nice positive message to start or end your day with. So I don't do them every day, but I read them maybe like once a week. So I sometimes give them to other people just randomly. Sometimes I give one to my daughter. And they're these little pop-up cards. You just open it and it's got a nice or positive message for you. Let's see what this says. It says, keep dreaming, wishing, and planning. There's immeasurable power in it. So I'm going to take that message and I'm going to hand it over to you guys or for whoever's watching this YouTube video and needs to hear this. Here's a message for you. It's keep dreaming, wishing, and planning. There is immeasurable power in it. Adios. I'll try to be back later.